What's up? I'm Jason from IKILLYA. And I wanted to talk to you today about bullying and bullies and people like that. This is something that's very important to me, a lot because of my upbringing, just kind of what happened to me as a child. I grew up in a little town in Indiana called Whiteland. As I'm sure you can tell from the name, it's not exactly the most accepting place in the planet. And I definitely was different, you know, long hair, listened to rock and roll, didn't play sports, you know, was not the model kid I think that the city was looking for, and definitely kind of a person that was singled out by a lot of other people, a lot of other kids. You know, I got in fights constantly. I got shoved around, I got harassed, I got bullied a lot. And it was a very tough experience for me. It was very, I don't know. It was alienating, and it was frightening at certain times. More than anything, it just made me angry. You know, I had a guy drive off road and try to run me over with his car one time, which of course the police in the town wouldn't do anything about because they don't want somebody like me who's not all-American basketball player in their town. You know, and it felt very, very alone and very unjust. It's something that I feel like really shaped the person I am today. But it shaped that because I realized a very, very important thing, and it was probably around the beginning of my sophomore, right at the end of my sophomore, beginning of my junior year in high school. I woke up one day and I realized that none of those people mattered. And I know that's a really, really simple thing to say, but really that none of them would have anything to do with my life in even 4 years' time. You know, I realized that those people and that experience in that town did not define me. And I think that's the most important thing that I realized. I realized that those people and those experiences and how they felt about me didn't define who I am and what I wanted to do. And at that point, I was able to just kind of turn it off and be like, you know what? I don't care anymore. I'm not angry anymore, you know, because the reason you're angry is because you feel mistreated and you feel alone and you feel like people are doing wrong to you. And obviously that's a good reason to be angry, but as soon as you stop allowing them to have the power to make you angry like that, it changed my life. And I decided, you know what? I'm out. That's it. I'm taking control of my life. I'm going to go do my thing. And I very quickly got out. It took me a little while to get out of the state of Indiana, but I eventually did. Packed all my stuff. I moved to New York City. Started my life over. Started my life over a few times before I got all the way here, you know. But it's very important to me because I know how alienating that felt, and it shaped a lot of my lyrics. It shaped a lot of my experience. It shaped a lot of my attitude on world and on rock and roll. You know, I remember when Columbine happened. I remember the first thought in my head was, oh, I understand. You know, and obviously those kids had serious problems, and they made some very bad choices, and I don't at all condone what they did, but I remember thinking, oh, I know. You know, I remember at that time Howard Stern's show was being syndicated on the local classic rock station in Indianapolis, Indiana, and I remember he was talking about it, and I called in, and I got on the air by saying I thought about shooting up my school, which was totally true. I absolutely had many times. One of my good friends, Chuck, his grandfather sold guns, and I would spend the night at his house, and I would think, man, how easy would it be for me to get that AK or that SKS right there and just go fucking get rid of these motherfuckers, you know? And I remember how angry I was, you know. And so when that happened, I thought, man, I remember that feeling. I know that feeling. And Howard immediately put me on the air, and he was like, "Oh, what? You're some badass. You thought about doing that?" And I was like, "Dude, no, it's not about that." I was like, we're all talking about how crazy these kids are and how they hurt all these people and they killed people, and that's horrible. but we need to also be talking about why that happened. What drove them to that? You know, they killed very specific people. They were angry at very specific people. Why? What was happening in their lives that made them so mad at those people? And he and Robin like called me a pussy and fucking hung up on me. And then 2 weeks later, I'm listening to the Howard Stern show, and he comes on in the morning. He's like, you know what I want to talk about? I want to talk about what drove these kids to that point. Who was making fun of them? You know, and at that point, I was like, fuck you, dude. That's the last time I've ever listened to Howard Stern. But you know, it's a very, very important thing because there are people out there, and I feel like our society has almost gotten to the point where it's okay to make fun of people that are different, and they feel like it's something that is all right to do. So through our sitcoms and our movies and whatever else, you laugh at people that are different. And, you know, I think you've just got to realize if this is something that you're experiencing right now, you're watching this and you feel angry and you feel hate and you feel hurt because of other people that are bullying you and that are making fun of you, they don't define you. That's the bottom line. They don't define you. Nothing that they say about you is ever going to have any effect whatsoever. It's been years since I've been in high school, and I have never once since that point been on a job interview, met a girl, interviewed band members. I've been in tons of bands, you know, in this band now. I've been on another interview with a magazine or a radio station or anything and had anybody go, you know what that dude from Whiteland, Indiana said about you? Never. Those people don't even exist. They don't. Most of them probably don't even know where I am or what I do now. I don't know what the fuck they do now. I don't care what they do now. They don't define me. They didn't define me. They can't define me. They don't have that power. You have the ability to define your life, to take control of your life outside of any other circumstances. Focus on what you want, aim for that, and go get it. It doesn't matter. They cannot define you and what you are. A song on our album called Razor Blades is really very definitive of that time of my life. When I was in high school, I wrote a lot of lyrics about it that weren't as effective as they needed to be. They were just very angry. But years later, I feel like I wrote this song to those of you that feel that way, and to myself at that time period too, just trying to reach back to that. And I think that really sums it up. So I'll just tell you what it says. The lyrics are, and this is for all of you, searching the sky for a sign, believing that you're not alone. I am living proof of the ability to fight fate. So keep your eyes to the skies and remember that their words are only lies. Don't be the one who never tries. Because regret is only the result of falling prey to fear of losing comfort. And your life is better than you know. These razor blades are not your only hope.